What's up, everyone? Welcome to the show and Speak Easy. I'm your host, LQ.
And it's Big Chill, aka Landon. You know what it is.
It's Claude. What's up, y'all?
Today, we're going to basically trash the worst chain restaurant in existence.
Damn.
I mean, if they're not, they're really dang close. Have you ever even seen an Applebee's kitchen? Like, have you seen an actual cook at Applebee's?
You mean the microwave?
Exactly. Like, I wonder if I Googled a picture of an Applebee's kitchen, would it actually just show me like two little toaster ovens in a microwave?
I wonder what my Google first result would be too now. Yeah, you got me curious. Let's see. No,
if anything, it shouldn't pull up any result.
it might actually be blank.
Let's see. Nah, dude, their PR team a little good, bro. Let's see. We got some. It definitely don't look this clean. They took that picture just for the flags. This is what I'm expecting, dude. I'm looking at an oven with grease stains everywhere. It looks like it hasn't been cleaned in about 5 years.
The fact that they have an oven is impressive, because I really feel like it's just like a bunch of microwaves stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, oven is a bit too much. That's actually just a deep fryer for all the shitty food. If you deep fry it, can't taste it.
Right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna give you that, because I remember back in the struggle days of college when we went and had the boneless wings.
Yeah.
We would just get that, and what was it? There was something else that we got. It wasn't the spinach artichoke dip, because we got that once and we were like, you know what? We're better than this. But it was that, and I think it was mozzarella sticks. But that's because you can barely ever go wrong with mozzarella sticks. Like the moment you go wrong with mozzarella sticks, shut down.
Yeah, if you fuck that up, you can't be a restaurant. And plus, like y'all said, microwaves. I mean, all they gotta do is heat it up in the microwave real quick.
Chili's, that's where I worked. All those broccolis you order, y'all, it's just broccoli in a little bag. We put it in the microwave. That's how we quote unquote steam it. And we nuked that bitch.
Yikes.
And that's exactly why I never ordered it. People like, what about the vegetables? I'm just like, I really rather just make the effort to just go run it off than eat that garbage. Like, I know what it is. It's the same. It's not even the Jolly Green Giant bag. It's the huge industrial, like, plain white and black bag of vegetables, and they just nuke it and then they give it to you.
Hey, and those chocolate.
And then when you complain about the food not being hot enough, what do? They take it to the back and they nuke it again.
Yeah, that's all we do. Hey, those chocolate lava cakes, all in the freezer, all pre-made. We put the lava cake in the microwave, then we add the ice cream on top, and there is a chocolate syrup that it hardens into a shell instantly when it hits the ice cream. Which is really great for restaurants. So essentially, like, I remember some old ladies like, "Oh, you just freshly baked this cake?" I'm like, "Yeah, Granny, you're absolutely right." But that shit been in the fridge for months. Pop that bitch in the microwave. Yeah, absolutely. But anyways, besides their food being the food, we're not here to talk about food. It's even worse than that.
It's way worse. According to News Nation now and a bunch of other news sources that are even more credible, Applebee's franchise exec says spiking gas prices are great for hiring workers at a lower wage. So I'm not sure if anybody's seen it on social media or not, but basically the execs at Applebee's are just like, yo, we ain't got to compete with unemployment no more. Nobody's getting stimulus checks. They coming back to work. All these broke people coming back to work, and you know what we can do? We can keep them broke. So in the leaked email details the exact process of how people are being brought on to Applebee's, and basically is just like bragging about being able to bring in people at lower wages, messing with their schedules in order to keep them working longer hours. It's a hot mess. And all I can say is, who's surprised? That actually was a great sound effect, but that definitely needs to not be. But who is surprised at all that this place, that, you know, big corporations are being trashed? And this is exactly why, you know, tipping may be important, but it's also why tipping is trash, because it's another cost that they pass on to you instead of actually giving workers a fair wage. But I really
100%.
wish people stopped going to Applebee's. I wish this place shut down a long time ago. Even the joke about Applebee's being like a good bar but a terrible restaurant, it doesn't make up. I mean, it is true, but it's like it doesn't make up for how terrible they are as a whole.
Mm-hmm. You would think with all the money they saving from not paying employees, you would think they would put better food out there, but
They would do something for someone somewhere. Like they ain't doing anything for anybody. They're not serving good food. They're not paying their workers. They're not doing anything for the community. It's just like all this. They suck at everything.
It's bad when your email says inflation's a good thing, so we don't have to pay people money.
Exactly.
What a joke!
So garbage.
Yeah.
But I mean, you worked in the service industry, Claude. You can attest to how terrible all this is. I mean, and you worked at a place at least a notch and a half above Applebee's, so I can only imagine. What does it do?
Give them a half notch. Give them a half notch. But okay, so if any of y'all have ever worked at a restaurant, one, y'all know it's an environment that builds this camaraderie between each other, because it's kind of like Marines going to boot camp. You get to the location, you signed up for this, probably because you either had no choice, didn't know where to go, or you fucked up in life. So you're there. That's kind of how it works in the Marines, or maybe you wanted to be there. But they build this camaraderie by giving you the shittiest experience. You got to work with the shitty customers, no gratuity, bad tips because your food's so fucking cheap. It's like, I just serve these people at home. Yeah, the 2 for $20. 2 for $20 means your 10% tip for that table is $2, bro. It's fucking terrible. And they try to bump it up to 20%, but still $4. So if you've ever worked in a restaurant, there's the camaraderie and you all have fun bonding together to go through the shitty experience together. So as far as working in a restaurant, you've probably made great friends there. Bartenders are obviously excellent people to talk to. Everyone's charismatic because you have a job that requires you to be charismatic. So that part's great. Then it comes to the other parts. Just like Applebee's, our wages was $2.13 an hour, and if you didn't make minimum wage, they obviously covered it. But I'm like, this is bullshit. Just pay me a wage, bro. Because not only did it count for me as a waiter, our to-go waiter still was only getting paid like damn near minimum wage. And I'm like, who tips to go? Honestly, like, it's just everything's a scam. All those little napkins we folded ourselves on our quote-unquote break times. If they try to avoid giving you raises or extra money because you're a waiter, you don't get a raise. Like, that's something that you have to think about. There's no raises every year for waiters. You just stay there and you're expected tips to be your wages, even though these companies are making a hell of money. So just think about that and you're like, wow, this is fucking ass. Not only that, everyone treats you like shit because you're at a chain restaurant and you're mostly dealing with either teenagers or people who just ain't got that kind of money to be tipping usually. So it's just the fucking worst. It's the absolute worst. All the food, you also lose the little allure rose tinted glasses of fast food because you see how it's made. Shit's kind of garbage. But yeah, I would say the tactics are the same. At my restaurant, we actually had our wages after post tip posted in the back as a motivational competition, and it was kind of weird. Like, I was like, I don't want everyone to know how much I'm making, but also we could see that like everyone was making like $10 or $9 an hour except for the women. I'm not gonna lie, women there were making some money, bro. Some desperate people at Chili's, dog. Dog, it was like an extra $5 to $6 an hour for every woman who was a waiter. But there's some desperate dudes at Chili's, bro. But that's the fucked up part about management, bro. There was no raises, there was no incentives. You worked a lot on your off hours, you didn't have a break. And if you wanted extra money, usually they just gave you like extra food, or they did some kind of fun little event and they bought in shit. Like fucking cereal or pancakes for breakfast one day. I'm like, nigga, I could go to fucking IHOP down the street.
Cereal?
Yeah, and we had so many hardworking cooks, bless their souls, that try to move up, or people try to move up in the ladder. All of those positions were just given out to friends. All of them. It just felt like it was just friends of CEOs, or people had no idea what they were doing, dude. Great stories, great tea. I mean, had a bartender who dated a waiter. They were married. They did not divorce. Then she started dating the other bartender, but they all had to still work together. But she had the first bartender's kid, and he just was born. All kinds of baby mama drama bullshit. Yeah, bro. All kinds of baby mama. One of my managers was fucking an employee, and we all knew because he would curse her out like on the regular. So he cursed out the one black manager, and then he got fired. Damn. My nigga wasn't dealing with that shit. He cursed out we had 3 women as managers and 1 dude. He cursed out all 3 women. Then he cursed out the dude. He was immediately fired.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. Well, one of my managers, I'm not gonna say her name, but she definitely grew weed, and she would also smoke in the back. But that was cool. You know what? It's just all kinds of random cool. Like the people there, a trip, always entertaining. But as a true career, man, like I did this when I was in college, man. Like I had time to blow, and I had extra cash I needed on hand just for like fuck shit. The people who were in there like trying to like live off of that, bless your fucking soul, man. A chain restaurant, it's hard, dude. You're definitely picking up a second job. There's no way you're living off $9 an hour, and that wage hasn't changed in the last 15, 20 years. Because guess what? You don't get raises or bonuses. So tipping's kind of bullshit. I feel like they should get paid a real wage. Everyone who works in service industry at these chain restaurants feels that way, because it only works in your favor at high-end sushi, steak restaurants. High-end restaurants is great, but that's not a majority of the workers. It's just not. I mean, you'd be actually better off. Like people make fun of the McDonald's burgers boys. They made more money than most of your chain restaurant workers as waiters, 100%. So that's the full tea on the backstock. And I'm sure Applebee's is the exact same, because Cheddar's is the same, Chili's is the same, Outback Steakhouse is the same. Yeah, TGI, they're all those like $10 to $15 entree, not even 15, $10 to $13, $12 entree places, all the same, bro. Look at stuff like Five Guys. They actually get paid wages. You're paying the same amount of money for the same quality of food, but it's one where you just go to the front, order your food, and sit down. And they pay their employees like a fair wage. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if they actually get paid.
Yeah,
at least you can argue for a raise, because you're not getting tipped. So
exactly. The crazy part is like just thinking about, not only when you said they've been making like $9 an hour for the past 15, 20 years, the Applebee's is dying to pay less than minimum wage. Like this is literally the advocacy for more slave labor. I won't say for slave labor in general, because that exists and we already know how it is. Private prisons, things of that nature. But this is an advocacy for further making free labor a thing, like making slavery a business practice. And hearing it from a big corporation, like I really hope. Like the thing that makes it bad is like you want people that work at Applebee's to get money, but also I hope that everybody that works at an Applebee's leaves. That way nobody ever goes there, and then they shut down. But we know it's a bunch of people who can't get on the same page with that. And they're still going to go there for that nasty ass food. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I got a Fireball for like $2. And it's just like, bro, you could just go buy the whole bottle for 10. Fireball's not that good. Like,
or expensive.
Yeah. And I'm just like, everything about Applebee's should fail. And it's bad because when people talk about, fast food is terrible for you, it's better if you go to a sit down restaurant and cook yourself. It's like, Applebee's is worse than most fast food. I mean, Applebee's fast food, they're just a garbage version of it.
Yeah, if you don't love yourself, you go to Applebee's.
Oh, man, it's true. It's like going to Subway. Sometimes you're just like, I guess I want a really bland, tasteless sandwich.
Right.
Guess I'm going to Subway's.
I'm depressed. Let me depress myself even further. Let me get that on the ride. Let me get that on the Italian bread, please. No, don't toast it. You wanna know what? I've always wondered, like, who the hell was like, don't toast it? You would
Subway used to not toast bread.
I know, but I'm saying when that came out,
they copied it.
That line. Yeah, they copied Quiznos hard because everybody they were actually losing ground. Quiznos was opening up like wildfire, and then their marketing team said, "Nah, we want to work for Subway," and so they completely ruined the company.
Yeah,
but I'm just when that came out, when they started toasting subs, kind of like universally, air quotes. Who was still saying don't toast it? Like, what weirdo is just like, no? You worked really hard to.
You got school shooters that say that.
I want this bread. Nice, soft, frail, weak, like me. Don't toast that shit.
Oh, God, that's hilarious.
Like, if I was working at Subway and someone would be like, would you like your bread toasted? No. Be like, silent alarm, okay.
Pushes the button underneath the cheese. Police will be on their way.
Right. Oh man, nah, you gotta go out of your way to serve that guy, just so that you're not on that list. Yeah, rather. Oh man, it's fucked up. I remember in high school, there was definitely some people who were picked out, and I was like, I knew a couple of people were like, I'm gonna just not fuck with this dude just because I have a feeling. And I was like, damn, bro, that's cool. That's fucked up that you would say that, but I'm joining you.
Nah, trust me, when it came to people that always had my radar up, I would make sure that I was friendly to them and make sure, hey, if you ever do lose your mind and decide you want to shoot people, give me a heads up.
Let me know. It's always the white kids be taking shit way too far sometimes. Like when I was in high school, black kids would just fight about it and it'd be over with. White kids just be obsessing with that shit sometimes.
Yeah, they'll hold it in and be like, let me go ahead and find my parents' gun or whatever, and then just open fire and then try to kill themselves afterwards. I'm like, y'all niggas gotta chill, bro.
No, you did it in the wrong order. You take yourself. You don't have to think about nobody else. I know how people feel about that, but I'm just like, yo, if you really don't want to be here, don't try to take people with you. If you have the desire to take people with you, give it a test run. Take yourself first.
Wow.
See how you feel about that. And then try again tomorrow.
Yeah. If you didn't see tomorrow, sounds like you succeeded. Leave people that want to live alone. That's all I'm saying. You can't hate everybody and hate yourself and then just be like, I'm taking everybody with me. You're going to have to see them again, dumbass.
Oh, man.
Especially if none of y'all go into heaven. Oh God, that's
you shoot the bullies, you shoot yourself with the bullies, and you're just chilling again. You get your ass bullied again. That's your personal hell. Just have it continue. You wake up, you go to school again every day.
Just continuously getting picked on and jumped every day at 3:00 like that. Don't even do it, bro.
There's nothing you can do to wake yourself up from it.
Exactly. That sounds pretty terrible. But on the real though, people that feel like that other people shouldn't be on this earth, seek help. And also people that are working at Applebee,
seriously,
also seek help, because there's no reason why you should put yourself through that. And that's literally for both topics. There's no reason that people should be subjecting themselves to working for $2 an hour. And I know that's really hard to say, for some people that, I won't call them low skill workers, but for people that don't have the certifications to do something that's much better, I know it's hard to be but being a server, I'm good with people, I get tips. Don't support companies like this. And it's hard to not support companies like that because all these big corporations to an extent have the same hive mind of we have to keep people making the minimum, desiring to come back to us for more, and sprinkling in appreciation. We know that any warehouse job is the same way. All those people are underpaid for how many units they ship every single day. People in the restaurant industry,
they work.
For real. And then they'll get to this point where overtime is unlimited, and then they'll limit it. And then when they limit it, then they'll be like, oh, you can take off whatever days you want to, man. You go have fun. You go live your life. And then as soon as it comes down that stretch, that winter break where Christmas and all that stuff is coming around, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, then those are blockout days. It's like, so I got to come in on Christmas Day and I can't spend time with my family? Nah. Also expect the 12-hour days. It's mandatory overtime, which is completely illegal.
Yeah, you didn't realize you sold your soul. You signed the contract.
Right. You're getting a check. You're getting $15 an hour. You're doing big in the world. You can be under the poverty line in every state in the United States.
Yep. Standard of living is too high for what we're paying you. And because of that, we're going to pay you even less.
Garbage.
Give you 2 less hours of work, go work your second job. Yeah, nah, man, it's pretty fucked. It's pretty fucked out there. And
you want to know what else is fucked? The NFL. The good old no fun league is saying that the Rooney Rule, which for people that don't understand what the Rooney Rule is, on the very short end, it's affirmative action for the NFL. On the very long, lengthy, detailed end, it's a way to assure that the practices between NFL organizations are not extremely racist. So, for instance, if they are considering 5 coaches for an interview, if one of them is black and 4 of them are white, you cannot conclude your voting and your judgment without actually going through with the full due process of the interview for the black candidate as well. Some people want to cry about it and say that it's, pandering to minorities, but it's not. It's actually all fairness because there are 0 owners of any teams in the NFL. There are very few coaches. I think there's 2 active black coaches in the NFL. Robert Saleh is of Muslim descent. I
believe so.
Yeah, so that's 3 minorities total. But now what they're doing as part of the Rooney Rule is they are including hiring women now as part of what counts towards fulfilling the Rooney Rule. Now, as we know, for people that have done their due diligence in researching affirmative action, that ain't good. And it's not because anyone here is sexist or don't believe that women can work in the NFL, even though I do also have some questions about that. It includes not only race, but women as in the minority to serve on an NFL team. They have to have at least one offensive assistant that is a minority that works closely with the head coach, defensive coordinator, and other offensive assistant coaches. So the thing that gets me is I don't understand why position coaches weren't detailed in this plan, which is fine, I guess. I don't know why specifically offense when defense coordinators are often promoted to head coach. Literally, Brian Dable was just given the job with the Giants. Brian Flores, before he got screwed out of the Miami Dolphins job, went from being a cornerback coach to he was a defensive back coach and then became a head coach. One of the very few minority hires that happened in the past 10 years. But
damn.
Yeah, it's not a lot. There's a lot more being fired than hired.
Yeah.
So my issue, and pretty much my thoughts on it overall, because I pretty much alluded to it already. I don't like this because then it gives an excuse for people to continue to interview. Like now, instead of interviewing the 3 black coaches, like Ty Bowles, who is now just recently designated as head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if he weren't basically handed this job through Bruce Arians being going into an office position for the Buccaneers, what could happen is that they interview coaches from around the league. Let's say they look at Brian Flores, they look at Ty Bowles, and then randomly 2 women coaches. What they could do is offer the woman an assistant job at a very low level that she would be more willing to accept. And that would negate the pool for minority candidates who would possibly be in the pipeline for a higher position like a quarterback's coach or an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, or of course, head coach. The job does have to be a full-time job and not an internship. So it at least gets their foot in the door, but it literally could be stopped at the door. My biggest issue overall is that there is no official designated women's football league. So there is no legacy that they could build between being players who transition to coaches, like Mike Vrabel, for instance, or Sean McVay, or Doug Peterson. There's so many people to name. Who was the Bears coach that got fired recently?
What's that fool name? Not Fangio.
Yeah, it's okay. They get the point. It's like people who are former players usually get those jobs. Even the current GM of the Bears was a former player. So having that rapport with those organizations helps them move up a lot more than someone who is on the outside coming in. It's different than in basketball, because in basketball there's an entire WNBA, and also there's women's college basketball, which helps them bring in that legacy of I have experience as a player, not just as a coach. I don't know how that works out for women in football because they're such a small amount of players, and there's really zero in the NFL. So it's just like, how do they even get their foot in the door without taking a spot from someone who you would not only argue is way more qualified, but is also a minority as well? And it's like, when you get that intersectionality, you now see why people were complaining about there not being any more black coaches or having no Hispanic coaches, because Ron Rivera is literally the only one. It just brings up more confusion, and I wish that the NFL thought this through. Because instead of counting them together, they should have counted them as minorities, but also separate. One woman, and then also a racial minority that may or may not be a man. So if they hire a black woman and a white woman, cool. Hispanic woman, white woman, cool. Black man, white woman, cool. It just being where you can just have, two white women, and it's like Tom Brady's niece or some crap like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It seems a bit. I'm gonna just put my short opinion here. Disclaimer: I only pretty much watch the NBA. I watch a little football. I don't really see a good way to do it. But at the same time, there were coaches, I guess, in the NFL. Well, there were coaches in the NFL or NBA who were like not players, but they were coaches. And at one point, in the very beginning of the league, where like NFL and NBA are still majority kind of like black, but
yeah,
the office positions are not. So to me, it's always a weird one. It's like, how did they even start as? Oh, well, I mean, I guess if they didn't start all white, no one would watch it because they'd have been hella racist against the sport. But
right.
It's it does raise the question of like, who's really qualified? Like, in some cases, I guess it goes bad. Michael Jordan sucked as an owner. It's gotten better, but it's it is weird to me. I don't see a good way you can really integrate women into a sport that they don't have any experience in, except for watching on the sidelines. Which, I don't know, some people consider that good enough. I don't know. I guess to some people they may say that's good enough.
People that watch the sport and think that they're better GMs than the actual NFL GMs, yeah, of course they agree with that. But I mean, anybody who actually has like a lick of experience of being in the sport, they're gonna say that that's not it, which is fair. I mean, I don't watch people do surgeries and say I can be a surgeon. Like, that doesn't. But I feel like instead of it being a critique of the women, which I know that may come off as that initially, it's more of a critique of the NFL implementing ways for those women to have access to becoming coaches. Like, this rule doesn't reflect well on how coaching is in college football. It doesn't bode well for women who are playing in, women-oriented leagues that maybe, even if they're flagged, do they have a pipeline to where they can come intern for NFL teams and then get their bearings for NFL players and how the game works and how the organization works? No.
Nope.
So
they just have the lingerie football league.
Exactly. And it's just like, and they had some great, like, and not even saying it and to be funny, they had some people that really knew how to run an offense.
They do.
But and defense is like kind of hit or miss. Defense is kind of hard to coach for some people. But just having like the way that those different organizations work, not having a good pipeline, and just saying, well, the NFL will be the pipeline. It's like, well, that doesn't work for football really, because almost every person that's ever drafted comes from college. So the same, like, everything works kind of off of a legacy in the NFL because it's so old, so outdated, and so stuck in their ways that it's like this opening of including minorities doesn't work, because if it hasn't worked for the racial minorities yet, how is it going to work for women outside of using them as scapegoats? Because now all the racial male minorities will turn to the women and say they don't have anything on their resume that I have. Why are they here? And the NFL is going to be like, but you're right. So they're going to alienate the women at the clause of the racial minority and men. Then everybody else in the league is going to look at the black men and the Hispanic men and say, well, you guys understand why we won't hire you now. It's the same reason why we don't hire the women, which is a complete lie. Because Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy has been one of the most praised offensive coordinators in the NFL. He is yet to get an interview for a head coaching position.
And then
when he doesn't get an interview, you want to know what happens next? Well, Andy Reid is actually the one still calling the plays, so it actually wouldn't be too good of a hire if you get Eric Bieniemy.
Same excuse.
Byron Leftwich, he got one interview. That was with his old team, the Jaguars, which is another reason why the legacy system works, but won't work for women.
Yeah.
What was the issue that he came across? He was like, I can't really work with this general manager. I don't think the relationship's going to work. And instead of them saying, hey, you guys need to sit down and talk, they were like, you're free to back out.
Yep.
See you later.
Our way or the highway, bro.
So now the teams that are taking the fall are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Even though their hire makes sense because Ty Bowles has not only been a head coach before, he's been with the team for some time and they won a Super Bowl together. But the other team is the Houston Texans, who kept interviewing Josh McCown, who has little more than high school coaching experience. Yes, he is a long-term backup quarterback, but he has no history of coaching at a higher level. Not even more than some of these women, because the women, some of them at least, are assistant coaches in college football. But they interviewed him so many times, and they kept leaking information that they were really close to hiring him. And then when Brian Flores got fired, guess who had to take the fall? Another team.
Yep.
Another team that was already playing poorly. They fired their minority head coach, and they were like, we're going to get Lovie Smith. It makes sense, because if we can have him for a year and the team sucks, we'll fire him, get a white guy, and say, Lovie Smith couldn't pull it off, even though the team is one of the worst in the NFL.
Yep, just tried their quarterback and like, oh, well, we suck. Well, why you couldn't turn it around? Because you didn't give me the parts, dumbass.
Yeah, that is one thing about coaching positions. When you come into a coaching position and your team is trying to tank, essentially, or like, it's just like, what do you do? Like, it's hard. It's kind of fucked up, because I felt that way with the Rockets coach, Houston Rockets coach, who just came in. I'm like, bro, came into a fucking shitstorm. This is the NBA side of it. Is like, he came into the whole team just blowing up, going from a playoff team for the last 5-6 years to now last in the league.
Yeah, Harden wanted to be traded and shit.
Yeah, and people say, "Oh, it's his fault." I'm like, how do you equate that? He has no team, and this is And Steven Silas is also a black coach. And I'm like, it's just like, don't fuck this man over for that.
Trying to do the impossible. You got some rookies, some washed up vets, and then a bunch of people who are selfish as hell. Like Kevin Porter Jr. plays selfish as hell. Christian Wood got an ego out of this world. Doesn't make any sense. You haven't won a damn thing, man. Sit your ass down.
Yeah, PJ, that's way selfish. But to be fair, as someone who saw a Rockets game last year, I mean, yeah, they're literally all like 19 to 21 years old. Like, they are children except for literally Christian Wood and I believe Eric Gordon and John Wall, who they're not playing. So it's a little bit of a diverging to NBA, but same. I mean, that guy came onto that role as a black coach, and that was his like first year or second year. I think it's just like, dude, what do you do?
It's a bunch of bull. And I could probably go on about it all day, but I know a lot of our listeners aren't the biggest people on sports talk. But this is just one of those things that like it affects the world outside of sports too, because there's companies that will adopt this line of thinking. Like it took us till 2022 for people to say, you know what, discriminating against natural hair is illegal. That's not right. It took us till 2022 to say that, you know what, lynching should probably be a federal crime, and maybe it should be a hate crime. Like it takes this long to get very minor changes that black people and some other people of color, I don't know, it's mainly black people, but black people have been advocating for to make a difference in the way that people think. And just because something is legal or not legal doesn't mean it's going to change people's perspectives. But these things are at least a step in the right direction. It maybe take 2 or 3 generations for people to notice that women should have an opening in order to get to the NFL that is more than pretty much begging to coach in college or be a part of, football in college, or to have to start there in order to get them to be closer to the NFL. They have to start an entire league of their own that won't be funded by the NFL.
Because the NFL is always going to try to take down any league that could potentially take any business, and I mean any business.
What's the other league called? The XFL or AFL?
What was it? XFL? What was the
USFL
other ones?
And the AFL.
Yeah, USFL, AFL, and then of course arena football. They were trying to make that somewhat of a minor league, but that didn't last long.
They were on to something too. I
liked it. I went to a couple of games. It wasn't bad.
Garbage. Anyway, overall, we wanted to share with everybody that big business is garbage, like as usual. And the crazy part is we hadn't, honestly, come to think about it, I think we've been kind of serious on this one. This was less comedic than usual. But it's just that it's getting old. Like, it's not getting old, it's been old. The way these places function is old. It's dead and it's tired and it's annoying.
It just shows you how, society is built basically from the government on down. Like, we don't want everybody to succeed, so therefore we have to hold back a certain part of the population and make sure that they stay poor and struggle their whole life. Because, God forbid that everybody is not fighting for scraps and living paycheck to paycheck. Forget a country where everybody can, basically come together in unity and, help each other out. Everybody has to be greedy and shit and, always have to think about themselves and be selfish. And I'm talking about these companies in particular. Like, I've worked in corporate. I hate corporate with a passion. And I've seen it, firsthand and stuff, where I'm working for somebody like my manager or team lead, and I had a company where my manager would come over to me and be like, hey, I'm about to go take a nap in my car. Not the lunch hour, but an hour or two is going sleep in his car, and told me I need to look out for the team and stuff like that. Bitch, that's your job. Like, Why are you coming to my desk with that nonsense? Yet you're getting paid probably 3-4 times more than I am, but here you are over here asleep on the job. What the hell type of shit is that? So I know it happens all around, not just in corporate, but just jobs in general. Pawn off, jobs that you don't want to do to people that may be desperate, or just kind of get an extra check. Because sometimes for some people, one job isn't enough. There are some people who work 2-3 jobs, which is sad to think about in itself. So yeah, just the way society is designed, it's just really a damn shame. Shouldn't be this hard.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, but hey, like Applebee said, and this is the perfect opportunity, boys. Cost of living's up. Time to bring wages down. And it's pretty fucked up. But that is the exact situation they want. I believe this is a quote from. This was a politician like the 1800s. America's the democracy of America is it's the ability to be as freely unequal as possible. That's what it's really about. Because people always say, "Oh, America's freedom." It's the freedom to be super unequal. The freedom to literally have some people just never lift a finger in their life and profit off your hard work, because that's how it's ran. It's crazy. Capitalism and the growth model and all that stuff, it's crazy because it doesn't have to be that way. These guys could work harder and take pay cuts.
Yeah, like what the hell you need all that money for? So I can get my 50th car or 10th house? Like, the hell you need all that shit for, man? You are one person. It's not like you omnipresent. Like, you can't be everywhere. So, like, I don't understand the greed, honestly. I really don't. Like, if I was an owner of a business, like, I would hope that I am paying all of my employees more than enough so that they can take care of their families and even have a little bit left over for whatever they want to do in their leisure time. Like, you shouldn't have to decide, oh, should I pay for gas this week or should I pay for groceries? Like, that's the point where some people are at. And the fact that a dumbass restaurant like Applebee's wants to take advantage of people because there's no more stimulus and there's no more unemployment. The fact that people were getting mad about people getting those checks and stuff, like, bitch, do y'all not understand how much the government takes from us every single year? What the hell do they do? Like, every time I see all them taxes that are being taken out of my check, what the hell did you do during this 40-hour shift? Or however many hours you work in a week? What did you do? And yet you want your cut every single time for what? Where the hell is this money going? To the military? That we almost spend $1 trillion on every year? What the hell is this about?
And yeah, it's a long rabbit hole. My short bit is, if I could decide where my tax money went, I wouldn't mind paying it. That's about it. But
absolutely.
That's it, but you just can't get that decision. It's really hard. And then politics and voting makes it hard. It's all very hard. But nothing new. But hey, don't support Applebee's. The only thing you can, people say you can go out and vote at the stands, man. Honestly, you could do that, and I do that, but really, you vote with your wallet.
Absolutely.
I think that's how you really vote.
Yep, you're right, man. But do go out there and vote and get that dumbass Greg Abbott out of office. I don't care what side you are on, Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever, but get that dumbass out of office.
Ted Cruz. Jesus Christ.
Hey man, you can't get him out. He's in Cancun, dude. He's already out. He's hanging, chilling.
Embarrassing, embarrassing, man.
For 1 second, I might just actually support that. God damn, whatever keeps him at bay.
If I get this wall up, can Ted Cruz stay over there?
Well, I mean, he's Canadian, so if anything, you can go ahead and just pack your things, go back up to Canada, my guy.
Don't even go to Canada. Canada is a somewhat nice place. Somewhat. They got their issues too. Everybody's great. There's like there's not even
has.
I'm about to say, Canada actually has the worst housing inflation in the world right now. They're pretty fucked.
Yeah, because it's actually kind of nice to be there.
Well, as much money as he stole from being a senator, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
You're not wrong.
Like, while people over here dying and having to live in their cars while dealing with blackouts and shit and being super cold. People over here dying. This nigga, I think this might be a good time to go on vacation. What?
He was like, I went because my daughter really wanted to go. I was like, shut up.
Yeah, how bad of a father are you to throw your daughters under the bus, bro?
Yeah, that's pretty trash. But yeah, no, TLDR, corporate trash.
Trust me, I could go a whole 30 minutes rambling about the government, but yeah, I definitely won't.
Closing thoughts for anybody?
Don't work at Applebee's or any restaurant like it. If possible, continue to follow your passions and chase after what you want in life, man. Anything's possible. Shout out to Kevin Garnett.
Colin Kaepernick was right, and so is Brian Flores. Get that money, man. Through the NFL. But if there's a fantasy to be watched, I'm probably because I'm a loser and I can't make up my mind. I didn't watch the NFL for 2 years and then completely folded on it and went back.
Fantasy football, fantasy basketball is pretty fun. I mean, I can't front about that.
Yeah, I mean, I do have like free copies of Madden though, so maybe I'll just do that instead. I'll probably just play Madden until Tom Brady retires. At least he retired in the video game.
Yeah, because real
open
life.
Up that my league.
This fool might play till 50 years old. At this point, who knows?
Hey, fuck the kids.
Basically.
Yeah, we just need to take his old ass home. I'm so fucking sick of him. All right, man. That's it for today. Before I start moaning and groaning and complaining.
Yeah, nah. Shout out. Try the new tequila, El Almo. Try that for the first time this week.
What?
Really good tequila.
Why
That's just my shout out.
Shit that don't pay us. Jesus.
just throwing it out there. I mean, just like I do. Shout out to DraftKings real quick and Prize Picks.
Yeah.